The chaos at the Capitol set off fiery reactions from lawmakers, including newly elected U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez. He said in a tweet, "I served our country because this does not happen here. It happens in war zones. America is resilient. We will overcome this divide. Violent protesters are not patriots." Tonight, a local veteran and true patriot gives his perspective on the civil unrest.
Let's bring in Sharon Coe, who has more from the retired Major General. Sharon?
Deborah and Aaron, there's no holding back. It's terrorism. That's what retired Major General Robert Parker called the attack on the Capitol. He shares what he believes needs to be done to bring unity.
A long and distinguished career in the Air Force.
I retired as commander of the Minuteman Missile Force in the United States.
Retired Major General Robert Parker has dedicated his life to serving this nation.
Every veteran will tell you that when they wear the uniform of our country, they know they'll make sacrifices, but they also defend our democracy, and it's worth the sacrifice and the death that some of them did.
So witnessing a mob of Trump supporters take over the Capitol stunned him.
And what you're seeing in D.C. is terrorism. It's a riot. It's no place in our country. In the Constitution, the right to protest. And you cross that line when you start taking over buildings, destroying property, fighting police.
The retired Major General says if history can teach us anything, it's that civility is difficult but possible.
You can't let the legacy of our forefathers, World War II and before, be ruined by a small group.
As far as his opinion on President Trump's remarks during the pot, he says the president had a right to make his claims about election fraud, but now he thinks it's time to move on because our democracy is too important to damage. Deborah?